Hello, I'm Kate, and welcome to Perfect Party in a Box. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive right into today's topic. Do this to save your marriage while separated. Tips for saving your marriage. If you are separated from your spouse, it may be hard to know what to say or do, or how to act, excuse me, or how to act, or even when to act. Don't worry, this video will show you 5 things you can do when you are separated to hopefully save your marriage. These are simple things to learn, and you can start using them right away. I think you will see a huge difference in your marriage. You want to contact your spouse, but let's do it the right way. You want to contact your spouse while separated, but you don't know the right way, so you may Google it. You'll see thousands of results with articles, videos, podcasts, so much information. And it seems like everyone has an opinion. Unfortunately, most of these opinions aren't going to help you. They are based on individual experiences, which is going to be different from yours, or they are written by divorce lawyers and they are written from the perspective of you've already decided to divorce. So, if you are separated and want to save your marriage, here are 4 things you can do to bring your spouse back. One way of looking at it is don't contact your spouse at all. So if they're gone, they can miss you, and the more they miss you, the more they will want to come back. But that is unlikely to work. On the other hand, there is some advice that says to contact your spouse daily, whether by phone, email, voicemail, text, or even just a written note. That's not going to work well either, because it is very overwhelming to someone who has already told you they want out of the relationship. I recommend that you fall somewhere in the middle of efforts to contact your spouse, but do it smart. Have a plan. Step 1. Stop behaviors that are pushing them further away. Don't whine, beg, plead, cry, try to convince them to stay, or try to get them to elicit compassion towards you. I understand why you're trying to do this, but it's not helping, and it's unlikely to gain you the response you want. In fact, begging, pleading, whining will just end up pushing your spouse further away. Don't try to show them how much they've hurt you by crying or unloading emotionally on them, thinking that if they knew the depth of your pain, they would apologize and want to stay. This is also unlikely to work because instead of your spouse seeing you as a strong, independent person who is attractive to them, they only see a person who has lost their mind and become overcome with emotion and can't control themselves. Don't start fights. Don't contact your spouse just to tell them something they've done wrong or yell at them about how much they have hurt you with their actions. If you want to save your marriage, don't reach out to them just to fight. They will never start the conversation that you want to have. And don't watch what they're doing. Don't try to control them. Don't track them. Don't hover. And please do not put a GPS tracker on their car, because when your spouse finds that tracker, it is going to infuriate them. If you try to control your spouse, any progress the two of you might have made in saving your marriage is gone. Don't monitor their emails or text messages or anything like that. These actions will cause them to distrust you. Cut out all these destructive behaviors. That's step 1. You may be thinking, okay, if they're already gone, what should I do? How am I going to communicate with them now? Step 2 is about the smart way to communicate. Step 2, manage business items together. It's not literally about a business, though if you own a business together, these guidelines will help with that. But I'm talking about managing the business of life, because even though the two of you are not together, there are essential items that the two of you will still need to communicate about. Stuff like taxes, mortgages, finances. The kids are another thing that couples need to communicate about. You will need to update your spouse on how the kids are doing, or if there is anything exciting going on with them, or if there are any problems with the kids. Anything like that where you can reach out to your spouse and it's going to make sense to talk to them. When you talk business with your spouse, the goal is to minimize negative interactions during this time. Be strong and calm the whole time. It is preferable that the business be handled by phone. Text messages can cause problems, and meeting in person can also cause problems when trying to talk to your spouse. Even if your spouse wants to fight with you, try not to fight with them. Stay calm. Keep a hold of your temper. Don't be sucked into a fight. This may be difficult because this has been the normal for the two of you, and your spouse is used to fighting a lot or even ignoring you. Your spouse is likely to try to continue that old pattern of behavior, but you can change the cycle. Be the best that you can during these times, and over time your spouse may begin to realize that they can speak to you and it's not a complete disaster. Once things start to settle a bit, you can start to ask your spouse some questions as long as they are not emotional in nature. Things like, how was your day? How are things at work? How was your weekend with the kids? Things that won't put them on the defensive or elicit negative responses. Start there and build. Start with conversations that are on even ground, and then when it becomes easier to have some of these talks where you aren't getting emotional and you can discuss surface level stuff, you are ready for step 3. Step 3, allow your spouse to start conversations. If the two of you are having your business discussion and in the middle of talking about the kids or the mortgage or whatever, your spouse may bring up something that happened at work and begin to tell you a problem that they're having. Maybe they will say they miss being home or that they feel guilty about something they've done. The key here is when they open up about their feelings, whether you agree with the emotions or not, you need to be a safe place for them. This is your moment, because when your spouse needs to see that what your spouse needs to see is that you can hear what they say, even if it hurts you, that you can respond back to them calmly and from a place of inner strength. If your spouse attacks you, I'm not telling you to stand there and take it, but if they begin to be open and talk about their emotions and where they have gone wrong, it's not a chance for you to get emotional as well. Ask if there is anything you can do for them. Let them know you're here to listen. And then you need to listen. Don't just listen in order to think of what you want to say back to them. Listen more than you talk. You want to be that safe space for your spouse. Now you may be thinking, my spouse isn't a safe place for me. If I open up to them, all they do is bash me and tell me they don't want to hear about it. I understand this is a hard situation, but in this moment, you can decide to be the bigger person. You can decide how to respond, no matter how the situation around you is happening. You get to decide how to respond, and respond in a way that shows your true character. I won't lie to you. This is really tough and takes a lot of effort and mental preparation and even mental toughness. It takes failing over and over and trying because you won't be perfect every time. That's okay. Just make it a goal to think before you speak and make sure that your actions are showing that you have the long-term goal of saving your marriage in mind instead of the short-term gratification of losing control of your emotions. And finally, step 4, take it one day at a time. Every day is different, and some days will be better than others. Some days your spouse will open up to you, and the next they may completely shut you down. You may feel that it is one step forward and 10 steps back in your relationship. But I'm here to encourage you that if you can eliminate the behaviors that push your spouse away, manage the unemotional daily life items, allow your spouse to respond to your newfound strength, and take it one day at a time, you will become a stronger person. You will become a person who can handle more than they ever thought they could, and this can help you bring your spouse back and ultimately save your marriage. Thanks for stopping by today. If you enjoyed today's video and tips, please click the like button below. To make sure you never miss a video, click on the subscribe button. See you in the next video.